Hello, thank you so much for inviting me to be your keynote speaker today. I wish with all my heart that I could be with you all in Mexico City, not only because it's one of my favorite cities in the world, but because what you and Forbes magazine are meeting to discuss today is one of the most important issues of our time. And I'm not just saying this haphazardly. In fact, the reason why I can't be with you today is because I'm currently in London at the Tyringham Institute helping Dr. Don Edward Beck and Barbara Marks Hubbard to discuss how they can help the countries of the world achieve the Sustainability Development Goals set forth by the United Nations. And the SDGs are something that all women should be paying attention to at this moment. And the reason for that is that the most brilliant minds of our time, scientists and politicians from around the world, went together to say, what do we need to do as a species to ensure that we can continue to live and thrive on this earth with the same kind of quality of life that we've become accustomed to? And how will we be able to ensure that that will continue past the year 2030? One of the fascinating things that they found in that research was that the empowerment of women is paramount. And when we discuss the empowerment of women, we're not just discussing economic empowerment, educational empowerment, or the raising of women's rights up to the issue of human rights so that they can be treated the same as the men in countries around the world. But rather, they were looking at what does it mean for women to have a voice. And what they discovered was that when they looked at women, whether it's in a third world country or in a first world country, that women in their lifetime put 70% of whatever they receive back into a given society. It doesn't matter if they're a tribe in the Yucatan or in a big mansion in the middle of Mexico City. It's the same amount. Whereas men in their lifetime only put 30% back into a given society. Well, that doesn't leave us women off the hook. We have to ask ourselves, in many situations, as the same woman who's raised a daughter and a son, what are we doing differently that's encouraging women to do this and men not to do it? And we don't have much time either, because if we don't look at the kind of resources that are not flowing through a given society and around the globe, essentially, when that flow doesn't move, it's a sociological and economic heart attack. That's not something we want for our species. We need to take a look at the women who have achieved greatness in the past, people like Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. How is it that a woman who was put into a tower and locked there for years with all the conspiracy around her trying to make her silent, how is it that her voice is still resonating throughout time to the point that it's on your money today? What is it that she knew? Well, in her own words, she said, oh, the things that Leonardo da Vinci could have achieved if he had only known how to fry an egg. What she was saying in that moment was that the experience of women is the other missing 180 degrees of life. Right now, men have governed majority of countries and led armies with their understanding of 180 degrees. But as a species, if we are going to be able to survive, it takes 360 degrees of looking at all the issues that we care about. And that means that we can no longer look at the empowerment of women as something that's just good for women. It is actually something that is critical for the empowerment of our species and the good of the world and the welfare of our planet. So the challenge that I ask you today, if someone like Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz was able to lift her voice across time to the point that we know of it today, who are you to be silent? Who are you to be small? Who are you to not dare to dream and to go after what you can achieve? I dare you to look across the tables at each other. That woman that you think is your challenger, your competitor, instead look at your mutual interest and your mutual goals as a means to tell you that that's a potential collaborator. And let me tell you, there is power in having a collaborator. When I look at the things that I've been blessed to achieve, I look at people like Gina Grant, who's CEO of Women That Soar. I look at people like Yvette Lambert, who helped me take an initiative to try and bring clinics throughout the Yucatan and multiply it 5 times more than what we ever dreamed. I look at people like Tanya Rodriguez that allows a vision that I had to help bring the poorest regions of the world education, and has taken what was just a vision into the first tangible reality. I look at all these remarkable people. Krana Stone, a woman who's actually gone out of her way and was able to triple the effectiveness of what we're doing here in Dallas with Food Source DFW. This is stuff that I could never have done on my own. And the same thing can be held true for you. So I want to invite you today. Look into yourselves and ask, what dreams do you have? And look at inside your pockets. Every single one of you possesses a cell phone. You know what that has done? That has given you more access to information and given you the ability to have your voice heard in seconds from recording it. And that's a power that the greatest leaders of nations and armies have never possessed. And that makes you some of the most powerful women in the world. So I want to invite some of my women friends who have helped me along my journey. They're the ones who are joining me right now. And if you can see the kind of power that's been able to occur with them, and for our embracing of each other and each other's dreams, then you can see the kind of power you are capable of.